Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Code Up Live. In today's session, we are going to talk about Flutter. We have with us today Mrinal Jain. He is the community lead at Facebook Developer Circles Indore and also works with Witifeed as a software engineer. Without further delay, giving it up to Mrinal. A little background about Mrinal. Mrinal has been a part of Upstart and Code Up events when we were in Indore. So it has always been a great pleasure having him as one of our speakers, and I get to have him again today as a speaker on one of our online sessions which I've been doing. So very glad to have you here, Mrinal. Without further delay, over to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello.
Yes, Mrinal, we can hear you.
Okay, so hello everyone. Very good afternoon. Almost evening it is. Thanks a lot, Manasa, for a lovely introduction. I won't waste much of your time because Flutter being new technology, relatively new technology, and we just have 1 hour. So we'll be trying to cover lots of basic
Mrinal, I'm
concepts of
sorry to
Flutter.
interrupt.
First of all, yeah, yes,
Would you like to turn on your camera?
yes.
Yes, you are
Sure.
actually
Yeah,
off
thanks,
camera
thanks,
right now.
thanks for
Yes,
reminding. Thanks
yes.
for reminding. Yeah. Okay. Um, I can't see that my camera is on or not. Yeah. You guys can just let me
Yes,
know in
we can
the
see you.
comment section
Yes, we
any
can see you.
questions, any queries. Great, great, great. Okay. So I hope my screen is also visible and my video is also turned on. So great.
Yes, both
Hello
of it.
everyone. Yes, cool. Thanks, Manasa. So today, in this 1 hour, we'll be going sort of from beginning of Flutter to how you can basically start building your own application into Flutter, or if you already have any application on any of the native platform, let's say on iOS or Android, at least you start thinking in that direction that okay, I can have a native application or I can have a hybrid application which would work on the both the platforms. So yeah, let's not waste much of a time and start with our session today. Few pointers in the between of the session. Any questions you can directly shoot in the chat sections, comment section. Any suggestions, any topic which you want me to sort of explain a bit more, you can just directly mention it in the comment section. Initial 20-30 minutes, we'll be having a complete look around how Flutter started and how it actually works. One of the few important things. Uh, yes, and later half we'll be having a Q&A. If you guys have any questions related to Flutter, related to the session. Okay, so let's start. Um, so, a bit about me. I'm Renal Jain. I'm community leader for Facebook Developer Circles Indore, taking care of Central India region basically. We are into promoting collaborative learning, taking care of lots of college students, and helping them sort of grow into their technical career and stuff. So yeah, we have been running this community for almost past 2 years successfully. So that is about me. I'm also a Mozilla representative and a tech speaker for Mozilla from past 4 years, speaking about a lot of web technologies over there. I was also a Microsoft student partner back then in 2013, I guess, 13, 14. Since then, I'm sort of associated with them. I'm also a community manager for Facebook Free Code Camp. A lot of you guys might have started your learning career from Free Code Camp. They have very, very sort of basic and easy methodology to teach programming languages to you guys. So if any one of you might not have seen it, just go to their website and you can check it out. I'm also a international partner for Hour of Code, which is organized by code.org every year in Science and Technology Week. Yeah. And all in all, I'm a developer evangelist. Happy to sort of evangelize any of the programming language technology which is sort of taking a boom in market, or any particular technology which a group of students want to learn about. So I'm always ready to sort of do that service. So yeah, and finally, I'm also a full-time UI developer for Witifeed. A lot of you guys might be knowing that. So yeah, that is also that's a few things which I've been doing from past 2-3 years. Okay, so today's agenda that was about me. So today's agenda will start with okay. Yeah, any suggestions, just let me know in the comment section if I'm going too fast, too slow, voice, anything. Yeah. So so today's agenda will get to know about what actually Flutter is, how it is different from the other competitors which are there in market. Because ultimately, what is Flutter? It's used for creating mobile application, and mobile applications are being created from past 10-15 years, right? So how it is different from those, how it is easier. There are many questions which we'll be answering. How it is easier, how it is accessible to almost not just a developer, for a designer as well, for a person who creates prototype. For example, it's not just for developer, even the product manager, even the UI developer, designer can also use this Flutter and sort of upgrade himself or herself. So this is the complete thing which we'll be sort of looking, and later half we'll be taking care of or looking at the more sort of technical aspects of how it is better. We'll try to prove that as well. So yeah, first thing first, uh, what is Flutter, right? So Flutter is basically a SDK which makes building high performance, modern, and beautiful apps easy. So Flutter is basically a tool which is created by Google, which helps us to create hybrid applications, and every person, so anyone can create that particular hybrid application with the help of Flutter SDK. And when I say everyone,
Ronald,
yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt again. You can keep your video on because on Facebook Live they'll be able to see you. Your
Okay,
thumbnail
okay.
as video. Yes,
Yeah, correct. And sometimes due to the internet connectivity, it might turn off, but yeah,
problem. No
yeah.
problem. Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Good. Okay, so that was the first point which we covered about Flutter, and second, in the major point, which is it works on both Android and iOS platforms. So this is the two platforms which Flutter community is providing a surety about, that if you create any of the application, any of the code which you are writing in Flutter, these are the two platforms on which they are giving 100% support. But I would like to inform you that nowadays Flutter is also providing you support for Windows, as well as Ubuntu, as well as there are different support desktop applications and web applications as well. So not just Android and iOS. If you'll see the list, it's growing bigger and bigger every day. You can make your own website, you can make your own iOS application, Android application, and desktop application with the help of just one code base. So you're writing just single code base, which is in Dart, and in output you're getting these 3 to 4 different packages or different products in one go. So just imagine like how much it is doing for your company or for your organization, right? So that is one thing which you need to look for. So that was the one. and it's open source. It's the most important part of it. It's open source, so maximum contributions into the Flutter SDK is coming from the open source community. You as a developer can also just go ahead and sort of bring on fixes into the Flutter channel. Every 15 to 20 days, Flutter community is releasing a new version of Flutter SDK because it's growing very fast, and things are getting sort of fixed and improved, and new features are getting added each and every day. So every 15 to 20 days we are getting a new update, and there are lots of new things to sort of explore in Flutter. So this was the basic sort of eye-catching thing about Flutter, that almost everything you want to create on your mobile into your mobile applications is available in Flutter. Right. Now, the second question, who is Flutter for? So generally, when we talk about any of the sort of, what do I say, like programming languages or anything related to sort of development, basically. So it's just restricted to a developer point of view, right? First thing which I would like to mention, that Flutter is not just for developers. It's also sort of covers the how do I say it covers a wide or it solves the major problems for designers as well, because any development cycle, when we talk about any development cycle, right, it's not just about writing code. It starts even before designing prototypes, forming layouts, wireframes, and then sort of using any of the UI tools to create design, and then it comes to development, right? So with the help of Flutter, or I would say not with the help of Flutter, but Flutter easily sort of converts the designs which are made in Adobe XD or such similar UI tools into the Flutter code without a lot of you don't have to do a lot of tidy coding and stuff. There's lots of UI materials or UI widgets which are directly you can sort of pick from your Adobe XD design and directly start using into their code. So basically you get lots of code for your designs. So in that sense, it helps designers a lot, right? Again, when it comes to prototype, same thing. You can sort of easily make high fidelity prototypes using Flutter, because in Flutter there's no difference. Everything is written in Dart. So you're making your design into Dart. Whatever functionality, whatever integration you'll be doing, that is also done with the help of Dart. So it's much easier to sort of understand. Even testing, even for testing the code which is written, it's written in Dart. So everything is written in Dart, which makes it easier. You don't have to sort of learn different languages. Everything is written in Dart, so it's much easier for you to understand. And last but not the least, it helps developers a lot, right? So developers get a very sort of rich experience. When I talk about like I have been writing Flutter applications from past like 5 to 6 months, and it's really very easy. It's like there comes a feeling from inside that how easy it is to write Flutter applications, how easy it is to sort of design any code or any UI into the Flutter, because there are lots of widgets available which you can directly plug and play in your application. You just need to pick the widget, and you need to place into your application. So it becomes very easier for a developer to sort of make any design. If I talk about the time taken to create any UI in simple HTML and CSS, and if I compare that particular time with the time which I take in, or any developer takes in making it into Flutter, so it reduces by 50%. That's what I have seen when talking about Flutter. It really helps a lot. It really helps a lot. So that is one really good benefit which developers see for. So that is the thing which I wanted to cover, that Flutter is not just for developers, it's for prototypers, it's for designers, it's for developers, it's for everyone. Yeah. So I hope now all of you might be sort of thinking, or you might have sort of decided that, okay, for which purpose or for which part of my project I can use Flutter, right? So that's the thing which I want to share. Like you basically now know that who are you, right? Okay. Any questions which you guys have, you guys can just mention them whenever I will feel like that, okay, this question is sort of in context to what I'm explaining as of now. I'll directly answer that particular question, or else we'll take all the questions in final 10 to 15 minutes of the Q&A sessions, right?
Mrinal, there are a few
Yes.
questions. Would you like to just take a look at it?
Yes, yeah, I was just taking a look at the questions itself. Okay, so I'm in love with this. Okay, so first question is like it's the name of the person is not mentioned, but I'm in love with Flutter. But is it right to make a career in it? So definitely, I would like to answer this question that Flutter is the next big thing when it comes to mobile development. And as I mentioned, that it's not just for mobile development now. Initially, when it was started, it was for iOS and Android application development, but now you can also make websites using your same Flutter code. Also, you can sort of ship your Mac OS applications, your desktop applications, your Ubuntu applications. So you just need to sort of give it a thought that I'm learning one thing and I'm able to help, or I'm able to do a job which would say, which would fulfill almost a job description of 2 to 3 developers. So that itself answers the question that if you're able to do a job or a work of 2 to 3 people by just learning one technology, you should definitely choose it as your career path. Me personally, I was writing HTML, CSS before. We were working on lots of websites. Now we shifted to Flutter, and with this help of single code base, we are shipping our iOS application, we are shipping our Android application, and we are shipping our website as well. So yeah, it really helps a lot. So definitely you can choose Flutter as your career path. Second question is React versus Flutter. Which one do you think is better? So yeah, this question will take in last, because that's what I'll be explaining throughout the session. So I guess you will be clear with your questions. So yeah, that is the second question. And there's another question: how will be the growth in Flutter in coming future? Again, so if you want to see a growth, or if you want to sort of know that what would be the future of this particular technology, we just need to see the past of that particular technology. So it was started as a simple hybrid application development platform, which was for Android and iOS. And in past 2 to 3 years, it has become so huge that it is now supporting web, desktop, and every other platform. So if you'll see that, okay, this is the growth in past 6 to 7 months, you can directly assume that like what's coming next in the future. So it's definitely going to help a lot. So yeah, covers the questions. There's a question from Anmol Jaiswal again. Can you please tell us about features Flutter provide that React Native cannot? Definitely, we'll discuss that. Okay, so yeah, these were the two things. If like coming back to our PPT, these were the two things which I would like to sort of I really like about Flutter, which I was also speaking on the previous slide. The first thing is developer experience, and the second thing is performance. So when we talk about developer experience, when we learn any technology, or when we start making applications or start working in any of the technologies, uh, we really look forward to see that, or we really hope that that particular programming language is really easy. It should be easy to understand. It should be easy to write. Making new things, experimenting in that particular technology should be easy. And overall experience should be sort of not tiring for a developer. This is what Flutter provides. Be it very complex UI. I would be talking from the point of UI point of view, because I was a web developer previously. So my experience as a developer in Flutter would be that, be it any complex UI, be it very sort of tricky animation, any complex UI, or any sort of particular UI animation which you are asked to do by your designer, or a very sort of uh, how do I say, mismatched UI is there. It's not related to grid, and everything is sort of matched up in your particular UI, and it's very difficult UI to build. But when it comes to Flutter, any design, any particular animation is possible, and in very less time, because Flutter provides you widgets for almost everything, be it sort of doing any tricky animation, be it making any tricky UI, be it any grid system, any particular design which has lots of elements here and there at different positions. Flutter provides almost pre sort of uh, almost previously prepared widgets for almost everything. So that's how the developer experience is sort of very improved. And when it comes to performance, again, it takes care of almost most of the things without even you writing the code. For example, when you're writing HTML and CSS, right, there are lots of things which you need to take care on the HTML page. Like if you want to like if you want to apply any animation on your page, when you're shifting from one route to another route, you need to write a code for it. When you are sort of doing any show hide feature, opacity changes feature, you need to write a hell lot of code. Any animation or any transition, when you are sort of writing, even if it's for a simple loader, you need to write so much of CSS transitions and keyframes and lots of things. There's lots of coding required, even if you know it, even if you're good at CSS, but there is lots of things which you need to write. uh, you can say that there are lots of library available like Bootstrap and Materialize which does it for you already, but core functionality, if you want to sort of make something on your own, you need to write a lot of code. When it comes to Flutter, there is almost like any animation, any particular thing, you have a widget for it. And when it comes to page transitions, when it comes to show height functionality, opacity changes, transitions, animations, it takes care of them almost on its own. You don't need to write a code. When you are writing a code for changing one route, animation is automatically applied by the Flutter. So it takes care of all those stuffs. So those were the two things which I wanted to mention. Second thing is Flutter is design oriented. Uh, we have a question again. I'll see the question. When is the web version of Flutter uh, but the web version of the Flutter is not ready to deploy, or it's not stable? Okay, so there's a question about the web version of the Flutter. So basically, Flutter, that's what I was saying. There's 100% surety that Flutter would be shipping Android and iOS application. When it comes to web application, desktop application, and your Ubuntu applications, right? The development is still in beta phase, but even though it's in beta phase, you can start developing your websites on Flutter, and it would be giving you a production ready build. So the development is in beta state, but you can start working on it, and it won't sort of break anywhere. There are no breaking changes in that particular release as well. So you can start working on it. So Flutter works on different channels basically. So the one which is available, or almost like all the four channels are available for everyone, but the very popular one is the stable version, and then there's a beta version, and then there's one which is in development phase, and then there is the fourth one which is the exact replica of what Flutter is working on as of now, which is like the master. If I say the language of Git. It's exactly similar to the master branch of the Flutter directory. So the stable version is giving you the functionality of iOS and Android applications. You can take out releases of iOS and Android applications from stable version. If you want to see, or if you want to just explore that how the web version of your particular code would look like. For example, if you are making an Android application and you are on stable channel, if you want to see that, or if you want release of your web application as well, you can just switch the channel. You can go on the beta channel and you can get a release of that particular thing as well. So these are the 4 channels on which Flutter works. And I would suggest you to work on the stable channel if you're creating a deployment or a production ready application. If you want to explore the things which are still being built, you can go on the beta channel as well. So that is about the different channels which are there on the which are available on the Flutter. Okay. There's another question. Before that, I'll quickly shift to the PPT. Okay. So now if we will talk about the UI part, right? So the question is exactly the same, that is Flutter handles front end, or it can handle both front end and back end? So the answer is yes, it can handle both front end and back end. So Flutter is just a SDK. The language which you are writing is Dart, right? Flutter basically is a SDK which compiles your Dart code and gives you an output, right? So when you're writing Dart, the UI code for front end, which is for the basic how your website looks, is also written in Dart, and the API calling and all the dirty work which happens in the backend and like calling to the database and everything, that is also written in Dart. So everything is written in Dart. So if I talk about again back to old school HTML and CSS, you had HTML for making structure, you had CSS for sort of making it or beautifying your code, and you have JavaScript functionality, like adding functionality to your application, right? So all those 3 languages or all those 3 markup things is replaced by just one thing, which is Dart in your code. So you'll be writing Dart for everything, be it styling, be it structuring, be it your backend code, or everything would be done from Dart. So yeah. What do you see here on the screen, right? So there's a simple page which has a cover image. Then there's a title, there's a star rating, then you have a share bar, which is from where you can like call or go on the route, and then there's a paragraph, right? So if you'll see this page from the developer point of view, right? Be it a UI developer or be it a backend developer, right? So if you have either you'll be integrating it or you'll be creating a design of it, right? So if we want to divide this page, so that this is how we will be dividing this particular page when we are creating a design for it, right? So this is how we generally go ahead, right? Whenever we are creating a page, we try to divide our complete design into a grid system, basically, right? Or into rows and columns, because that's the thing which is much easier for us to understand, right? Be it Bootstrap, be it any other CSS framework. When we sort of it's all about grid system, right? So this is what we do, right? We look for rows and columns. Is there a grid view possible in this particular design, so that it becomes easier for me to code, right? Are there any overlapping elements? Because when it comes to overlapping elements, you need to come out of your grid system and you need to apply. When it comes to HTML, you need to apply positioning of the object, and similar when it comes to Flutter. There's another simple widget available, which is stack. You can use that particular thing. Is there a tab available? This is all what comes to our mind, right? This is what all points I have mentioned. That what's the padding of the elements? Is there any border to the element? This is what we generally do. So now, why I mentioned this particular design was to make you guys familiarize with how easy it is to sort of make a design cool. So again, these are the two things which we can compare, or if we further sort of bring down or divide our design, or if we further divide our design into the elements, right? So talking about the first image, uh, it's a complete section. There are three icons with some text, right? So every icon is every section is a text. There are three sections. And if we further divide that particular section, there's one icon and there's one text. So if you'll have a look at all these things which we have divided, there's an icon, there's a button section, there's a text, right? There's a row, and then there are three childrens. And if we look at the second image which is there in the PPT, so again, if we further divide it, there's a title section, there's a text, there is a row which is one, second is star, and the third is number 41. So you can if we sort of generally have a look at this. So what all elements are present in the design? There is text, there is title. Okay, there is text, title, there's a button section, there is a icon. So now all these things, when it comes to HTML, uh, in HTML of this particular thing, for we have to write,
Mrinal, a lot of voice breaks. Can we take you off the camera so that you can we'll hear your audio clearly?
I just want to know that is my voice
Voice is clear. Voice is
clear?
clear.
Voice is clear, right? Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
might be a problem with audio. Right. Okay. So
Sure.
back to the slide. So when it comes to writing HTML, for every semantic meaning keyword, we have to write a HTML tag with reference to it. For text, I'll have to write H1 tag. For icon, I might have to type span tag and then write something into it. For a paragraph, I might have to take p tag and then write something into it. So at times it is sort of difficult to uh, sort of manage these two things. That I have written H1, H2, H3 tag at so many different places, but I'm not sure that this is for title or this is uh, for a subheading or anything like that, right? So we'll try to compare the code of HTML and Flutter, or let's say Dart, that how sort of different or how easier it is to sort of make anything into the Flutter. So yeah, if you can see at the left section of your screens, we have written for in HTML basically. So I have written HTML for like a box basically, which contains a text, and the text is lorem ipsum. Writing a CSS for it. CSS again, we'll be using the class selector, and I have mentioned background color, which is I have given it a width, I have given it a height, and then I have given it a font collective family. Okay, I just got a message that screen is not visible. If it's not visible, for let me know.
Right now, yes, it's not visible. Can you just try? Yeah, now we can see it.
Yeah,
HTML, CSS log and the
great.
logs.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for feedback, everyone. Right. So basically, what we are doing is we are comparing a code for HTML and Dart, right? So we'll be trying to create a box which has a background color of gray. Um, Okay, I'm still getting messages that screen is not visible. Okay, it's visible. It's visible. Cool. So as I mentioned about the HTML part of it, we took a div with a class of graybox and we applied CSS to it. Now let's come to the Dart part of it. If you want to create a graybox which has a text of lorem ipsum into it in your Dart code, how you will be creating it, right? So everything in Dart is a widget, right? Everything is a widget. Be it text, span, font, whatever it is, it's a widget. So we'll start with a container. So what we did in our HTML here, it's a container. Now, container is accepting one parameter which is child. Now in child, what we'll be giving a text because we need to give a text which has lorem ipsum as a value. So we'll be providing lorem ipsum to it. Now, if you want to provide style to that particular element itself, you can directly give a style child to it, and then you can mention all the things which you generally used to do into the CSS, which is like font size, font weight, and font family. So you can directly do that. Now, everything is a class in Flutter, so it accepts different key value pairs. So first was the child, which ended over here, and the second I'm talking about the container. So containers first key value pair was child. Now second is what? Width. Third is height, and the fourth one is color. So this is how you created a box into the in with the help of basically a Dart code. Now, it might be looking a very sort of, how do I say, in first look, it might be looking untidy because you might be thinking that I'm writing text at the same place, I'm writing the styling at the same place, I'm mentioning the sort of colors and width height properties at the same place. But that's the beauty of Dart, right? You don't need to sort of take care of different places and different things. For example, even if I wanted to write the functionality part of this particular container, I can directly add a on-click event in this element itself and it would start working. So comparing it with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the things which you were writing in three different files and you had to learn three different things, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Here, you need to just learn that and you will be able to fulfill all the three requirements. You will be able to structure your code, you will be able to sort of beautify your design as well as you will be able to provide functionality to that particular design. So this is the basic comparison when it comes to um, Flutter, right? So now, a lot of you guys might have worked on Angular and different particular technologies, right? So I would like to talk about what all tools are available. Code is there, but what all tools are available when it comes to sort of programming with Flutter and Dart, right? So Flutter provides a very efficient sort of set of tools which are really helpful for a developer. Okay, so the first command which I would like to talk about is Flutter Doctor, right? So what it does is it checks your environment and displays a report to the terminal window. So whenever you are running Flutter Doctor command, obviously after installing Flutter into your machine, which is again a very simple step, you can directly go to flutter.dev and sort of take care of the process. It's very easy. So once you're done with that, whenever you are facing any issues with coding of Flutter language, right? What you can just do is you can run Flutter Doctor command. It would check almost all the possible scenarios of your environment. For example, is Flutter working for Android part? Is Flutter working for the iOS part? Or is the environment working, development environment properly working? Everything it would be checking and it would be giving you a report. So that's what Flutter Doctor command does. Then there's a Flutter upgrade command. As I said, Flutter is getting improvements almost every 15 days. Every 15 to 20 days, we have a new release of Flutter. So you can directly use Flutter upgrade command and upgrade your Flutters to the latest update, up-to-date version. Now, yes. A lot of you uh, who are attending or who are having a look at this session, you might have worked on different projects, right? When I talk about a website, you might have worked into you might have used any of the frameworks, right? For example, when it comes to PHP, or when it comes to using Angular, right? When it comes to using Node, there is a configuration file for almost every project, right? Or for almost library or every library or every sort of working environment which you are using, right? There's a configuration file where you mention all the latest dependencies of your project, or all the sort of configuration things of your project, so that even if you sort of shift your project from one machine to different machine, you just run one command and everything is ready for that particular project, right? So there's a configuration file. So similarly for Flutter as well, you have a configuration file which is by the name of pubspec.yaml. Uh, Again, it is very simple. You need to sort of, it is already available. Once you run the Flutter create project command, it is already created. In dependencies section, you can mention different dependencies which are there in your Flutter application. When I say dependencies, as in external libraries which are using, or any external plugins which you are using into the Flutter. Exactly same as the different configuration file, other configuration files which you guys might have used. Right. So this is how the configuration file looks like. There's one very unique feature about Flutter which it provides into the configuration section, is that I can also mention the uh, version up till which I want to use that particular library. For example, in the last section, which you might have seen that Firebase authentication, and then the version which I have provided was 0.2.5, right? In the next screen, which you will be seeing, is that when it comes to using any plugin, there might be a possibility that I just want to use that particular plugin from in a range, basically, that from 0.1.2 version, or it should be less than 0.2.6. So it should be in this between range. This plugin should be in between this range. So this is the unique functionality which Flutter provides, that I can also define a range in between which I want to use that particular plugin, right? Again, very easy commands to sort of just download all the dependencies which are mentioned in your configuration file, which is the pubspec.yaml file. You can directly run the command, which is flutter packages get, or if you want, there's also a shorthand available, which is pub.get. Run any command in your terminal window and it would download all the dependencies. If you want to upgrade to the latest version of all the packages which are available, you can run the command, which is flutter packages upgrade. So it would upgrade all the packages to their latest versions based on the dependencies. Again, another unique feature which Flutter provides is sort of it automatically solves dependencies in between Flutter packages as well. So for example, if you're using two different packages, or if you're using 3 to 4 different packages, and if there's an internal dependency on each other, let's say I'm using a package of which is related to a carousel or a image gallery, and then I'm again using another package which is related to caching of images, right? So now there might be a possibility that these two packages have dependencies, any internal dependencies, right? So when you run a Flutter upgrade or a packages upgrade, Flutter takes care of the internal dependencies as well, and solves that as well. The other command which is available is flutter format. When you run this command, it sort of automatically beautifies your code and makes it indented. You can run it on single file as well. You just need to mention the file name ahead of flutter format and file name. If you want to run it on the complete project, you can just run flutter format. So that is available. Flutter analyze again. So Flutter analyze, what Flutter analyze does is it sort of suggests you that what all possible mistakes you might have done in writing this particular code. So it analyzes the complete project and suggests you that okay, these are the list of things which might give error in future, or these are the things which you have not written properly according to the semantics. It gives you a list of all those stuff. Flutter Analyze. Yep. Now, the very important and very unique feature which Flutter provides is because while working with HTML and CSS, even if you do a simple CS font size change into the editor, you might have to go back to the browser and do a refresh with your hand, right? That's what simple HTML CSS with simple HTML CSS you had to do. In Angular and other HTML frameworks, you have that particular feature of automatic reloading, or right, like even if you do a simple CSS or a text change in your code, the browser automatically reloads. But this thing was not available in mobile development yet. Until Flutter came, right? Every time you do some small change in your code, in your native code, you have to sort of run the complete build command again, and you have to wait for like if your machine configuration is slow, you have to wait for like 5 10 minutes, and then it used to reflect. This particular problem was solved by Flutter, and they gave a feature of hot reload. So again, hot reload does same thing. If you do a simple change in your text editor, it would reflect automatically into the mobile application. For example, if you can see it over here, that I'm doing a small change into the element. I did change in the text. I wrote button clicked and clicked on hot reload. It automatically got shifted. Second thing what I did was I changed counter from plus plus to minus minus, so that when I click on the button, the counter text should reduce, and it as soon as I clicked on hot reload, it directly changed that particular functionality into the mobile simulator. So this is the very unique feature which Flutter has provided for mobile developers, which was not there, which was not available basically until now. So hot reload is again a very important feature. Okay, let's see if there's any question. There's a question that is Flutter best choice for production or for just MVP? So again, it's easier for it's very easy if you just want to create a minimal viable product to showcase it to your customers, or excuse me, to showcase it to your customers, or if you want to showcase it to your sort of team, you can create it very fast. But it is very good option, very good choice, or like the best, I would say best choice available to create production applications as well. Because if you'll go on the internet and look for the applications which are built on Flutter, you'll be surprised to know. I can name a few examples. Google Pay is built on Flutter. Nowadays, IPL is going on. Dream 11 is built on Flutter. Upgrade is built on Flutter. And there are so many. Grab on, which is again a application which is built on Flutter. And there are so many. Google Translate application is built on Flutter. There are so many applications which have a huge user base and are using Flutter. So I hope like all these examples which I gave might give you confidence that yes, Flutter can be used for production, right? Okay, the question is done. Another question: I am new to the platform like Flutter. Is it easy to make use of Flutter for application development? Yes, it's very easy. And if you have some previous experience of Android or HTML, CSS, or anything, any JavaScript framework, it would become much more easier for you. So yeah, you can use Flutter for making applications. It's there. Okay, so these were the two questions. Now we'll go ahead with our presentation. So you might have heard a lot about widgets from me until now in this session. That there's a widget available for almost everything in Flutter. So let's understand the example or the concept of widget. So in Flutter, everything is widget. Uh, Examples of widget is a container can be a widget. If you want to insert a text, you can insert a text widget. If you want to insert a paragraph, there's a widget for paragraph. If you want to insert a object or a container which with less opacity, then there's a widget for opacity. There's a if you want to insert two elements above each other, which you used to do with position in HTML. There's a widget named stack available in Flutter. You can use that. For everything, every UI element, there's a widget available. So you can just directly go and use particular that widget. There's a feedback that my voice is breaking. If it continues to be similar, just let me know. Or else if it's working fine, we can carry ahead. Okay, go on. So yeah, that was there. So every particular thing is a widget. What all things were elements in HTML, all the same things are converted into widgets in Flutter, and extra functionality has been provided almost for all the widgets. So there are two types of widgets in Flutter. One is stateful, and the second widget is stateless. So very okay. So very simple methodology to understand the difference between stateless and stateful widget would be all those widgets in your application which would not change for the entire lifespan of that particular widget would be termed as stateless widget, and all those widgets which would change their states or which would sort of change their size or text inside it or anything, any change would happen in their particular lifespan would be considered as stateful widget. If we take example of any of the application and try to divide stateless and stateful applications, stateless and stateful widgets of that particular application. Let's say there's a media player. There's a media player. Take an example. Take example of Spotify, right? So the elements which are like button elements or a progress bar or a add to playlist feature or a like feature, right? All these elements are like interactive in nature, right? When you click on a like button, it lights up. When you click on add to playlist, there's some functionality happen. The icon changes from add to playlist to added. When you click on seek bar, it changes its color and everything happens. So all these elements are interactive in nature, so these can be considered as stateful widgets. Talking about stateless widgets, they can be a heading section which would remain exactly same throughout the lifespan of that particular application. So that can be considered as a stateless widget. There can be a back arrow. There can be a icon which would just remain exactly same for the complete lifespan. So all those things can be considered as stateless widgets. So this is the concept of widgets in the Flutter application. There's a one bunch which is stateless and the second bunch which is stateful. Yep. So that was the widget. Now okay, so there might be a short disturbance from my side in the voice for a while. Just bear with it. So as I was saying that when it comes to Dart, be it styling any element, be it designing any element, everything is done with the help of Dart. So I took a very common example of centering any element, because when it comes to HTML, CSS, at times it becomes very difficult to sort of place anything, any object at the center of the box or at the center of the container. But when it comes to Dart, it's very easy. You just need to take a widget which has a name of center, and provide it a child, and then rest of the everything would be taken care by the Dart. Whatever thing which you provide into the child, in the child we have provided a text element which has a value of centered text. It would automatically at all the screen sizes place that particular text which is centered text at the center of the screen by default. So it's easy, it's very much easy for you to sort of take care. So now, for example, if you want to place any element at the bottom of the section, so you won't be using center. There's another Flutter widget which is align. You will be using that, and it takes the value that value align bottom, center, left, right. So you can assign it accordingly, and it would take care of all that stuff. Stateless versus stateful, I have already sort of mentioned you that what is the difference between stateless and stateful widget. It is also clearly visible when you are writing that particular code. So here example, in example, if you will see that we are writing a raised button, a code for a button which would look like a raised button. It would be a stateless widget, because our button would be just there would be just one click element on that particular button, and it would be sort of doing or changing a route or anything like that. So it would be a stateless widget. Now, these are the few examples of the Flutter widgets which I would like to showcase. These all the applications which you are seeing, all the animations which are visible, all the fade in, fade out elements which you can see, all these are not customly written in Dart. All these are already available as the widget in your Dart library. So in the first application, if you are seeing that there's a slide feature available, you can slide through the different routes. There's a page slider widget available in Flutter. In the second example, if you're seeing that there's a carousel going on of different images, right? There's a carousel widget available in Flutter. In the third example, if you will see that there's a header section, and the below there's basically it's an example of a contact application. So again, it is already available in Flutter as a widget. And the very last application, very last example is the animation of slide up. So there's a slide up panel available in Flutter. You can directly plug and play it in your applications. It's very easy and very fast. There won't be any lag in your application, even if you're running it on a latest device, or even if you're running it on a low end device. It won't be sort of lagging. Animations won't be lagging at any of the devices, because Flutter makes the changes in the pixels at 60 FPS, which is like very fast, and you won't be sort of seeing any lag in animation at any low-end devices as well. So that is again one of the very important things which are there in Flutter. Now, as I said that when writing a code in Flutter, you have to completely so you can like completely forget about how it will change your code into an iOS application, and how it will change your code into an Android application, or how it will change your code into a website, right? You don't need to even give it one single thought. It automatically does it at the backend. You just need to write a code in Dart. For example, if I'm writing a code for button, I just need to make sure that okay, I'm writing a code for button. At the backend, Flutter will automatically make the changes which are required for an iOS application, for an Android application, for for a desktop website. Flutter will take care of it. It's on it. So that is there. But still, if there is any specific functionality which you want to write for any specific channel, for example, if you want to write some specific code for Android itself, right? Or if you want to write some specific code which should run on iOS itself, right? So there are platform channels available in Flutter through which you can communicate to that particular native technology. For example, if I want to communicate to Android, I can write a platform code. Basically, we can call it a bridge, which would communicate with the Android code and then do that particular functionality. Because there are few specific technologies which are available in some OSs itself. Example which is coming to my mind is a PIP feature, right? Picture in picture feature. You are watching a movie on Netflix, right? You'll just minimize the movie. It would still run in as a PIP window on your Android applications, right? But when it comes to iOS, the PIP functionality is not available for iOS, right? iOS is not giving that particular functionality in their particular OS. And there are different functionalities which are very OS specific. So in order to sort of tackle those kinds of scenario, these platform channels are very helpful when you need to write a code specific to some related platform. So this is a simple sort of a UI diagram which is there that explains that how you communicate with the different platform channels. So you create basically a method channel in between the host and your Flutter application. Host is a iOS host or an Android host. You write a code in your Flutter application, and then you write a listener in your Android or iOS application. Whatever code which you trigger from your Flutter application, a listener listens to that particular code in your iOS host or Android host respectively and performs that particular application. It's very easy. But for this particular thing, you need to have a knowledge of that specific platform. For example, if you're writing a bridge for Android, you need to know Java. And then if you're writing a bridge for iOS, you need to know Swift and that particular language. But like these are the least scenarios, like 1 or 2% or 3% of the times which you will have to use these bridges for writing native code, because almost all the functionalities are provided by the Flutter on the first hand. So the next thing which is there in Flutter is it is optimized for performance. That's what I have been saying all along, that it compiles the Dart code to the native code without you taking care of anything. You just write one language, it takes care of all the other things. There's no sort of reliance on the OEM widgets. You need not to sort of wait that when will be the update coming for this particular technology. Flutter takes care of all the things. You don't need to write a lot of bridges. You don't need to write almost at all the bridges. When I say bridges, the last example which I mentioned, that if you want to write any bridge, I told you the example of that particular thing, but 90 to 95% of functionalities are already given by Flutter. You don't have to sort of write any bridge. For example, anything. If you someone might be a iOS developer over here, you might be knowing that there are lots of functionality which works differently on iOS. Even a simple native back functionality on Android works differently, and a native back on iOS works differently. So in Flutter, you don't need to worry about how differently iOS native back and Android native back works. You just need to write the code in Dart. Flutter will take care of almost each and everything which is working differently in the both the technologies. Now, now let's come to the example of how Flutter actually converts your code into the UI part of it, right? So there was again an example, again a question from someone that how is it better from React and uh, other applications. So this is where the answer would come, that in general reactive frameworks on web, how the things work is, right. There's a virtual DOM concept almost everyone might be knowing. It compares update. Uh, is there any update from the real DOM? Virtual DOM compares that particular updates. If there is any update, it renders that particular update, or else it stays there as it is. Right. This is how things work on web. If we talk about the mobile platforms, again, almost similar thing happens. There are virtual widgets uh, which compare updates from the platform widgets, and then if there is any changes, it gets rendered. Right. When it comes to Flutter, there is no concept of comparison, right? Because the Flutter application has direct access to the platform. So any change which happens is directly reflected to the canvas. Any event which is fired from the user or from the canvas directly does the changes into the widget tree. So that's the reason it is very fast. And that's the reason it is very fast and very interactive as compared to the other languages, which is uh, React Native and other things. Obviously, there are few features which are very important, which are provided by Dart. There is tree shaking. Tree shaking, you guys might be already knowing that when the code compilation happens, all the unused code which is there in your project is automatically removed with the help of tree shaking. There is very important libraries available in Flutter which take care of almost all the multi platform functionalities. When I say multi-platform functionalities, libraries support is that let's say if you want to use a voice search, so there are libraries available which will take care of iOS voice search and Android voice search. If you want to insert any video player, there are libraries available which would take care of video player for iOS, which would take care for video player of Android and web as well. Just so there are so many libraries available which would take care of all the platforms. You just need to sort of insert it in your particular code. So it is that's why it is very important. Uh, single code base for Android and iOS. The development cycle increases on a rapid pace, because previously you had to sort of maintain sync between your iOS developer and Android developer and the website developer, that all the things are going at the same pace or not. But now automatically things would be synchronized, because there would be just one code base. So that is one very important thing which is available. Uh, this is the feedback which generally users give, that the UI is butter smooth, and I have never seen such a smooth Android app. So this was the feedback which was given for uh, the Dream 11 application, which was launched with the help of Flutter, that the CEO of the company gave, that initially they were just using native application to build Android application, but later on when they switched to Flutter, still they were focusing on the Android application, but Flutter being Flutter, they were easily able to ship the iOS application also, because it was very easier for them to sort of just bring out a build of iOS application with the help of Flutter as well. So this is what it is. Finally, if you guys want some resources for the Flutter, these are the few blogs which are available, or else you guys can connect with me for the resources. I'll be able to help you out. The major updates which you guys can receive about Flutter is, if you can visit flutter.io, or else you can visit directly the Flutter repository on GitHub. URLs are available over here, right? Uh, we were supposed to having a code lab as well, but you guys can sort of scan this barcode and bookmark that particular website and try to sort of explore lots of Flutter widgets which are available at that particular code lab. If you guys face any problem, you guys can ping me later, or we guys can collaborate. So just make sure you can note down this URL or just directly scan this particular code. If you want to sort of try your hands on Flutter, there's a very nice code lab available at this particular section. So you can also do that. Okay, so yeah, that's all, I guess. I tried to sort of cover all the important points, all the important aspects of Flutter. Once you'll go through the complete sections and try to uh, uh, sort of try your hands on the Flutter code, I can guarantee you that it would be very sort of uh, how do you say, life-changing experience for you guys. Because that's what I felt when I started developing for Flutter. Because parallelly I was able to make website, Android application, iOS application. So it gives you a very warm feeling that okay, I'm getting so many things at one time. So yeah, let's do a quick Q&A. Like we are done with the sort of PPT section. You guys can sort of uh, connect with me on the all the channels. I'm available on almost all the social media channels, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you guys want to connect with me. Now let's take questions. I would like to ask Manasa, how much time do we have? Or
Mrinal, we can take
yes.
another 10 minutes.
Okay, so
It's
I'll try to
4:48.
yeah, I'll try to answer all the questions in
Yes,
10 to
please.
10 to 12 minutes. Okay,
Okay.
so let's start with the very first question, which uh, is okay. I'm getting a lot of questions continuously. I'll start from the last then. That's would be much easier for me. Okay. Along with Flutter, this is done. There's a question: can an Adobe XD design be converted into Flutter code? So yes, there are extensions available through which you can directly convert your Adobe XD design into uh, a Flutter code or a Dart code. You just need to Google once. There's an extension available which you can add to your Adobe XD as a plugin, and you can directly convert it. So it's available. You can directly do that. Yes. The question was from Shuankar. So yes, Shuankar, you can do that. Uh, Darshan has a question that web version of Flutter is not ready. Darshan, I've already answered your question that web version is available on the beta channel of Flutter. You can go over there and explore it, and it would give you a proper experience of Flutter websites. There's a question from any payment gateway which can be Gaurav has a question. Any payment gateway which can be linked with Flutter. So Gaurav, yes, by default there are support available from almost all the major payment gateways. I'm not sure about PayU, but you'll get Razorpay, you'll get Paytm, and you'll get third one is so yeah, these two are there for sure, like 100%. I have like for me myself, I have used Razorpay. So yes, there are payment gateways available to be used in Flutter, and there are specific plugins all these companies have rolled out on their own. So yes, definitely you can use those. Another question is Flutter handles front end or front end and back end both? So I guess I already answered your question that Flutter handles both the stuff, front end and back end. And the good part is that you just need to know Dart for doing both the thing. Also, the beautifying part of it, you just need to know Dart for it. Okay. Um, Again, another question. It's a long one. I was hired in a company. The HR of that company says that Dart is dead now. No one is working on it. But I'm in love with Flutter. I answer the HR as Google developers are not. It's not a question. It's just a feedback. Okay, let's move again to the next question. Is Flutter best choice for production? Already answered this question. Yes, it is. Next question, how to produce the release version of APK in Flutter, as I already produced the app, but whenever I install it in my phone, it shows app not installed, please guide. So again, a question from this. So when I was mentioning the Flutter tools, if you want to make a release APK of your Flutter application, there's a command available in Flutter which is Flutter build APK. Flutter space build space APK. As soon as you will write this, you will get a build folder created in your project, and in that particular build folder, inside the release folder, your APK would be stored. It would run a few commands for like 2-3 minutes, and then you'll get your release APK in that particular location. So you can just run the command flutter build APK, and it's there. The APK would be created for you. Another question, I have created a web app using Django backend and want to create native application for the same using Flutter with the same backend Django. Is it possible? Yes, definitely it's possible. Doesn't matter what which backend is there. You can, as far as you are able to do API, as far as your backend responds to the API calls, you can use any backend. From Flutter. You can do HTTP requests and you can use that particular backend. Not a problem. Again, a question: is there a performance difference in stateless and stateful? What if I keep every widget as stateful? Good question. So there is no performance difference, as in functionality. Talking about functionality, yes, there's a difference, because stateless widget has a different set of functionalities and stateful widget has a different set of functionalities, right? You can't update stateless widget, you can update stateful widget. But performance wise, there is no difference because they are just serving their purpose. There is no difference. There won't be any performance issues. And when we are talking about a production application or application which has lot of which does a lot of interaction with user, and that's what all applications do, right? So 80% of the widgets, once you are done creating your application, would be stateful by default, because almost all the widgets at some point of time interact with the user. So yes, it would be the scenario. Based on that, you can choose a widget to be a stateful or a stateless widget. Not a problem. Okay, this is done. Uh, can we create a shopping application with the help of Flutter? Yes, definitely you can do it. There's also a course available on Udemy, which throughout the course creates a shopping application with the help of Flutter. So if you want to sort of go through it, if you are thinking to create anything like that, you can just go ahead on Udemy and take a look at that particular course. Does Flutter convert component to the native component? So yes, it does, but you cannot see it at the native part of it. It definitely does that, but it does at the backend of the code. So it converts it to the native element of that particular uh, platform, but not exactly. The code won't be exactly the same which you were writing on the native. For example, if you're writing a code for button in Flutter, it would be changed on the Android, it would be changed on the iOS. But if you'll go inside the code and have a look at that particular code, so it won't be looking similar. Because what Flutter does is Flutter creates a layer on your mobile. It basically it creates a canvas, and on that particular canvas it creates all the UI experience. It creates a canvas on iOS, it creates a canvas on Android, and then it creates all the UI elements on that particular thing. That's why it's much easier. So the code won't look similar, but functionality and everything wise, it would be exactly same as the native one. Okay. Give, I guess we have a few more questions, two, three questions. We have created a app in Flutter. We used WebView in that called external website, which is created in PHP, but now we have to do function of calling and clicking on mobile number. Need to open calling dialer in app, but code is in website. How can I do it? Yes. So if you want to do this kind of functionality, that's where bridges come to the uh, mm, role, right? You need to call a native code functionality from your web view. So you need to write a bridge for this particular functionality. And example of bridges are also available on the Flutter's website. So you can take a look at this particular bridge, which is for calling a dialer, and you can implement it in your particular code. So it would be easily working. Okay, this is done. How to produce a? I guess there's a similar question available coming again and again. Release version of APK. There's a small command which is flutter build APK. You can easily use it, and that's where you will be able to create the application. Okay, I've created a Django app. How to produce it? Nice. Which database is best for Flutter? So basically there's no relation for in between what database you're using when you are building an application in Flutter. Database is completely depend on what kind of user base you are going to have, what kind of functionalities are there into your application. So it is completely independent. You can use any database. How to integrate third-party APIs with Flutter, like delivery APIs. So yes, there is a code available. You can do all the HTTP requests with the help of Flutter. There's a package available in Flutter itself. So all the packages which I'm saying that there's a package available, there's a library available. You can go on to the website which is pub.dev, pub.dev. You can visit that particular website and you can look for all these examples which are available over there. What is Firebase and how it is relevant with respect to Flutter? So Firebase is basically just it's not like directly connected to Flutter. It's a functionality. It's a platform which provides you different functionality, and it can be easily integrated with Flutter. Functionalities like user authentication, database, OTP services, login services, lots of services which are being provided by Firebase. So yes, you can do that. What are the best editors for Flutter development? VS Code by without any sort of doubt. VS Code is the best editor which you can use for Flutter development. Okay, so that is done. Okay. Related. What is database? Okay, so I guess, yeah, I have answered all the questions. Rest of them are almost common questions. So, great. These are the contact details which you guys can see on your screens. If you guys have still any questions left, you guys can connect with me on any of the social media platforms. I'll be easily available over there, and I'll be able to answer all your questions and queries over there related to Flutter. Be it any small query, be it any major doubt while you're facing building any of the projects, just feel free to ping me. So yeah, I guess that's all from my side.
Thank you, Mrinal. Thank you to the audience as well. You have been with us through and through. I really hope you enjoyed the session as much as Mrinal loved giving it. I could see the enthusiasm that he had from the beginning. Thank you so much again. As Mrinal mentioned, his details are over here. You can always pick it up and reach out to him. He's available he's pretty much interactive and always responding on any of these platforms as far as I remember. And yeah, you can always reach out to him. LinkedIn is the best, I believe, because I reached out to him first on LinkedIn. So thank you all once again. I hope you come to our next sessions as well. Thank you, Mrinal. Thank you for putting all of this together and making it such a great session. We'll have you. I wish to have you over at another session of ours. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.